And while the heat is aimed at Foreign Affairs Minister Wilfred Elrington for what PUP refers to as weak and inaccurate comments made in New York last week, the criticisms have now been extended to the administration when it comes to the Belize Guatemala issue. The People's United Party, for some months now, has been campaigning on the platform that Elrington is an inadequate representative for Belize, particularly when it comes to the Belize Guatemala territorial issue. And with that in mind, the PUP has been telling the people to vote no to the ICJ. Today, the party was asked to clarify whether they are opposing all movements made by this government because of Elrington.
No, the problem is not the personality of Senator Elrington. The problem is the management of this UDP administration of a strategy and policy that had been painstakingly crafted and carried out. There was, as you know, a bipartisan commission which was dealing with matters, and what we saw was after the Guatemalans had actually dropped their promise to proceed to referenda, from there we saw a series of steps that were taken which did not lead to better relations and which in fact, as the past year and a half have shown, have emboldened the Guatemalans to increasingly act aggressively towards Belizean civilians and even Belizean military.
From 2011, check your archives. The People's United Party came publicly and said that the government had abandoned the Chicky Bull to the illegal incursions of the Guatemalans. The government of the UDP had abandoned the port of Honduras to unlawful fishing by Hondurans and Guatemalan fishermen. There has been no response to the rape and plunder of the Chicky Bull or to the port of Honduras. We have seen consistently the refusal of the United Democratic Party government to fund Friends for Conservation and Development, to fund TIDE, to fund SATIM and others that try their best to go out there and to preserve our patrimony and our natural resources. The point of the matter is this: under the incompetence of the United Democratic government, under the very poor management of the United Democratic Party government, we have lost on the ground and we have lost on the diplomatic stage.
Now, it was about 8 to 9 years ago that the then Prime Minister had done an interview saying that the ICJ was the way to go and that Belize had a winning case. So what has changed in less than a decade? According to the PUP, they are now looking at the issue from a more mature perspective.
We say without apology that our position has matured and our position continues to be refined on a day-to-day basis, meeting the realities on the ground and on the international stage. We say that without apology.
As we mentioned earlier, the PUPs were the ones who had first brought the idea of the ICJ to the Belizean people. At today's briefing, former Foreign Affairs Minister Eamon Courtney spoke on the reason for that move back in 2007 and went on further to say why that position has changed and they are no longer for the ICJ.
We did say, as a part of the national effort in 2008, that the ICJ was the only option left because we had negotiated, we had gone through the mediation, we had gone through confidence building, and everything had failed. The Secretary General of the OAS advised both countries that it is time to end that and to go to the ICJ if the peoples in our countries would approve it. We say that unless the facts on the ground are such that Guatemala demonstrates good faith, not after the ICJ, but before the ICJ, we do not recommend to the people of Belize that we adopt that course.
According to Lisa Schumann, the People's United Party is getting ready to go back to the people on the issue. Meanwhile, Courtney made it clear that their position is not being made lightly or, in his words, in a cavalier fashion.
I think it is time to go back to Belizeans so that organically we can explain what has been done so far, where it took a turn for the wrong, and where we think are possibilities for it to go, and to have Belizeans give their input as to what it is they want to see. Politicians and statespersons have to be able to listen to people as to what it is that they want. This isn't the decision of one or two or a few intelligentsia. It has to be the decision of Belizeans.
When the party announces positions, it comes as a result of sober and mature reflection.
So now, with the PUP doing nothing but criticizing the way the Barrow administration has managed the Belize-Guatemala issue, they did balance their criticism with a promise to deal with the matter differently should they be elected into office next month. Their solutions to the issue are not ones that would guarantee a definite end to Guatemala's claim, but the PUP does believe that they are better than what is being done now.
And we say here publicly to the people of Belize that what party leader announced just now was a radical shift of moving back to the people. Within 2017, the People's United Party government will hold a massive public education and consultation exercise for the people to decide how we move forward on this issue. We will not prejudge what the Belizean people want. That's the first point. The Belizean people will be consulted and decide what is the best way forward for Belize on this issue. Secondly, Jules, and most importantly, do not lose sight of what our objective is. Our objective is to live in peace and harmony in our 8,867 square miles and sea. And the ICJ cannot give us that peace and harmony. The ICJ can only resolve where the borders are. And we say that Guatemala must start behaving itself like a good neighbor. And if it doesn't do that, then we have to respond appropriately on each occasion.
Schumann did tell Love News that she has all confidence that the territorial dispute can come to a final resolution sooner rather than later.